how much I love you, and I'd like to raise a toast on behalf of everybody here to a beautiful bride, Emily. It's the alcohol thing.
Yeah. Again.
Two other beautiful people on the table today. The two bridesmaids have done a brilliant job. I know Joe was waiting for me to say that line. Once I said the other week that I'll be toasting the bridesmaids, I could hear a cheer in the background on the floor. So, from what I've heard, you've been brilliant bridesmaids, for Emily, and the hen do was possibly the most organised event ever. Which you did a great job considering Emily's need for control and final decision on everything. You will need to give me some tips on how to manage that in the future, but I'd like to pose a toast to two wonderful bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids.
See, I told you there's quite a few toasts, but we're near the end now. Johnny, I want to choose my words carefully, so I know what may be coming shortly. Thank you for being a brilliant friend and a great best man. Organising the stag do was, I'm sure people will agree, was a brilliant weekend. Introducing me to egg and whiskey as a drink, and making me take my trousers off and shoot them with a gun was probably not the best, but it was still a brilliant weekend. I should probably be quite nervous about what you're about to say, but as Robert's already mentioned, in 6 months' time at your and Joe's wedding, I'll return all these compliments with a little bit more, and it'll be a brilliant best man speech. But those of you that may come to it, don't hold me to that. So it gives me great pleasure to thank you once again and hand over to Johnny to rip me to bits for 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Evening.
Good evening. Yes. Oh, I've already gone wrong. You'll have to forgive me if I'm a bit nervous, though. I'm not used to giving public speeches. Although I have heard it's like going to a nudist beach. First few minutes are the hardest. But I am going to break with tradition because I want to get a toast in first, because I want to make sure I don't forget to thank the most wonderful and important people of the day. To the bar staff. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I've known Andy for just over 9 years now, and Emily for just over 5. So there are probably a few stories I could tell about Emily as well, but thankfully for her, it's Andy I'm here to destroy. Andy and I have been friends ever since we were roommates in the first year at the University of Sheffield. I don't know who they are. But to be honest, I had to wonder how the University of Sheffield's room selection worked. Putting a Man United fan with a Leeds fan didn't exactly seem like a match made in heaven. But then clashes were few because they weren't actually in the same league, and I don't think they have been since either. But to be honest, I suspect that the university was just trying to quarantine all the Yorkshire accents of the house. Not letting us out so that we didn't scare everybody else, and introducing us gradually so that we could accept people saying things like Bath and Castle without calling them Southern Fairies. But then the university must have been doing something right, because here we are today. And I must admit, it didn't take me long to realise how lucky I was to be sharing with a great bloke like Andy. Although, to be honest, when you're leaving home for the first time and told you're sharing a room with a complete stranger for a year, you're just lucky it doesn't turn out to be a Satan-worshipping hardcore rave enthusiast. But Andy and I got on really well. We had the same interests, the same dry sense of humour, but where we differ is that Andy is incredibly tidy. If you'd have come in our room in the first year, there was a virtual line down the middle, with one side that looked like a showroom and the other that looked like a bomb had dropped on it.
You were a bolster as well.
Andy's also supremely organised. He never missed a lecture, always turned up to things on time, handed in work promptly, and still managed to find time to sort out all the household bills for everyone, which we'll all be eternally grateful for.
Yes.
But where he did go wrong was, perhaps not him, but it was in our infamous beer brewing attempts. Andy carried out his part with military precision, whereas Matt, Josh and I just threw stuff in randomly and swilled it with whatever spoon we could find on the side. I think it's the only time that Andy and I have thrown beer away. But to be honest, I think it was doomed from the moment that we decided we could brew the beer in swilled out Coke bottles. But something you might not know about Andy is that he's actually been a bit of a smooth operator over the years as well. Oh yes. In fact, I happen to know that he had a little cottage tucked away for his romantic dalliances. This was all pre-Emily, of course. But I know that there's still a few keys unaccounted for that cottage. So if there's anyone still out there with a key, still hopefully clutching onto it, now's the time to hand it in, please.
Yeah.
I think there's still one missing, isn't there? No, there isn't. Oh, there is. Moving on. And then at the start of fourth year, along came Emily. And I'd love to say it was love at first sight, but to be honest, I think it was just the day that Emily finally accepted she wouldn't be marrying Bono. They had met at various do's before, but it was on a night out that the first kiss finally happened. But what a kiss, and I will come to that later. Who knows what it was that attracted Emily to Andy? Maybe it was one of the vicar's chat-up lines. But maybe it was Andy's dancing. But to be honest, at the end of a long drunken evening, Andy's dancing can look a little like a Duracell bunny that's finally running out of energy. But it didn't put Emily off, because they famously kissed non-stop, without coming up for air, for 11 minutes and 38 seconds. And you might ask how I can be so precise, and the answer is because there was some random bloke there who was so impressed that he actually timed them. But from that moment, Andy and Emily were inseparable, and I knew that it would only be a matter of time before Andy would pop the question. And it was for the proposal that Andy put his organisational skills, he brought them to the fore. Yes, as Andy said, he proposed to Emily in Rome, in front of the Trevi Fountain, on Valentine's Day. Yes, Andy likes to do things by the book. And that book was Top Gear's Guide to Proposal. And I can share with you the chapter now. It's Clarkson's 5-step guide to popping the question. Step 1. Book an innocent weekend away on Valentine's Day, the most romantic day of the year. Step 2. Fly to Rome, statistically proven to be the most romantic city in the world, scoring 94% in the 2011 What Proposal magazine. Step 3, locate the Trevi Fountain and get in the queue of loved-up couples waiting for their turn to propose. Step 4, when it's your turn, look soppy, say nice things, and deliver the diamond. Step 5, buy a rose and return home on a Boeing 747 Model 8 with a fuel capacity of 48,000 gallons. Thanks,